Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Court of the Medici is a little two-player card game based off a larger version of a game called Medici. I think there's a couple of versions of that, and this would be the card game version. This is like being in a knife fight in a phone booth, as an old saying as they would say, because you're going to be just attacking and getting your cards out and kind of pushing the other player back as much as possible to get that maneuvering room to have. First of all, the rulebook isn't very good. I didn't feel like... And some people said, I read some other reviews that maybe they never even played the game correctly. The rulebook is a hard thing to get through. It's not very clear. Remember, this is a small card game, so take that with a grain of salt. It's not like you're learning how to play Myth or something. But the rulebook wasn't overly helpful. The artwork is uninspiring. It's, quite frankly, an ugly, ugly game to look at. I know you're watching this saying, this is the most beautiful game in my collection. Okay, fair enough for you. But for the rest of us, this is not a very good-looking game. It's dull and uninspiring, yeah, at best. Those are two things. Now, there are really big fans of this game. People who like that atmosphere, the tension this thing is going to build and playing the cards. And there's not a lot of luck in this game. So a lot of what you're going to be doing is putting cards on the bottom. You're going to be playing them out and splaying them out. And you want to keep things in the circle there. So I think the game is good for people who are looking for an experience of low luck, a lot of strategic planning, hoping the cards come out, but you can put things on the bottom so you have a little bit of control over that. But you are playing against your opponent. It's very interactive, and you'll be slicing and dicing as you're going through this cutthroat world that you're playing in with this little small two-player card game. Now, while I like this game, I don't love this game. And maybe with a new production and a new theme, it would be more appealing to me. But the way that it's set up right now, I think it needs some tweaks to be better, maybe a little bit better rule set, but it isn't one that we wanted to fool around. It's just the look of it's drab, the gameplay is too in your face for us. It wasn't something we're going to enjoy. And those might be all things you love, and if so, this is the game for you. But for us, it's a purge. So here's the Court of the Medici. You can see it's a little small card game that you're going to have here. This is about the artwork that you would expect in it. So very small, you open it up. It's going to have a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few seconds. And then for the components, you're just going to get two decks of cards here. One with a blue back and one with a red back. They're exactly the same. And you can see you're going to have a number at the top, some historical context here at the bottom, and then some probably public domain artwork of just old people just staring off into the distance with frowny faces all over them. Each one will have a different family on it that you will see here. And some of these will have abilities on it, but the cards are really good. I like the way that they feel. I don't have any problems with them. They've held up really well over the years, but kind of generic by today's standards. I don't know if this artwork, this Duke, is that going to bring you into the game? I don't know. It is what it is. Not something you would see a whole lot today. Here's the rule book. So it's more like a rule page. You're going to bring it out. You can see a picture of the components here, which are this. Setup that you're going to have in this and the goal of the game, end of the game. So not a lot of pictures, even though there's a little bit at the top, but just a lot of text. Here it really is the game right here. This is everything that you'll be doing in the game. And then they're going to give you the alliances, what to do with the empty deck. There's 3 cards that have special powers on them, clarifications, and then an example of how to arrange the cards. It probably took me about 10-15 minutes to read this and kind of comprehend what was going on. I felt like having a video to watch really, really helped out with this one quite a bit. First thing to do is take 4 cards that will be off your house deck after you shuffle it up. And this will be what's called your inner court. And both people will do this, and you'll just kind of have these set up here. And once again, this is called your inner court. Then you will draw 5 cards into your hand, and you are ready to play. There are 4 possible actions you can take in a game. You take one of your cards, and you can just place it down wherever you'd like. And you can place it right here, and that counts as being part of your court. At the end of your turn, you're going to draw a card and you're ready to go. And the next player would go and you would take turns going. Another possible action you would have is you could take a card and simply just place it on top of another card. So instead of this being worth 6, it's now worth 13. But keep in mind, you can also play them on the enemy cards, on the other player's cards. So this would be worth 11 now. The third possible thing to do is you could play a conspiracy. So I can play a card down here. Let's say I want to play this here. 10 plus 7 is over 17. I can take their 10 out, so now their 10 is gone, and that would be taken out of the game, and you would have a little bit of an open place right here where a card could be played in the future. So that's conspiracy, where you take and you place a card on top, you add it up, and you can take something out that's worth less. The other action you can do is you can take a card from your hand and just place it on the bottom of the deck. The reason why you're going to do that is when you get to the bottom of the deck and you draw your last card, you're going to show this card to everybody else at the table, and at that point you can no longer play any cards higher than this amount. So if a 5 was my last card, I pulled this off the deck, the very last card, I could not play a 6 or higher. I can only play 5 or lower. So you kind of want to put a high card on the bottom, so at the end of the game, if I have these cards in my hand, I can always play any card lower than this card. The game will end when somebody doesn't have any other cards in their inner circle, and you count up the cards and your color, and whoever has the most influence will be the winner of the game, and that family will be determined to be the winner. Now, there are 3 cards that have special powers. You have the Lady in Waiting. If you played her to build an alliance with one or more nobles, you separate all the nobles in that alliance. There's also the Jester. On each turn, this noble may be any value between 1 and 10. You score this card as 1 point. So each turn, the noble can decide how much this noble is worth, and that can be very important if you're trying to take someone out or take out a set of cards with the Jester on top of it. And the last and final card is the Minister. If he's played to build an alliance with 2 or more nobles, you eliminate all the other nobles in that alliance. So if somebody's building up something really tough and you want to get rid of it, you could plop this guy down, get rid of the other nobles, and he is by himself. So it's a good way to get rid of some high cards that somebody else may be using to dominate. And that's how you play the Court of Medici. Who should buy this game? Anyone looking for a 2-player kind of like cutthroat experience. You're going to have to like the art and the look of this game. You're going to have to like the theme. It's Bigger Brother's a very popular game. This is a little condensed down card version of the game. It's a little bit hard to find. I don't think you need to track it down. There are so many great games on the market, but your mileage may vary. But for us, this is definitely a purge.